This video will show you the most powerful way to raise your vibration. I'm going to show you practical tools towards really being able to let go of what doesn't serve you to then become the best version of yourself and to feel good almost all of the time. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the most powerful tools, the most powerful perspective that has allowed me to feel good a majority of the time. Now, it's going to be an understanding that this is also the way that we raise our vibration in the quickest possible way. It's something I've shared a couple times before, but what I want to do is make a specific video about it so that you have a video you can come back to towards understanding how to raise your set point for how you feel. Now, with this process, understand that I'm going to be using it under the basis of the scale you may have seen many times on this channel. It's from a scale that's from the book called Power versus Force by David Hawkins, and it's understanding that there are different levels of vibrational states of being. Now, under these levels, you'll notice that at the bottom you have emotions such as shame, such as guilt, such as anger, and then eventually you move into willingness, neutrality. Above that you have closer to more of love, acceptance, then joy, then peace, all the way up to enlightenment. Now, years ago, I'm talking maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm not saying I'm enlightened, but what I am saying is that 4 or 5 years ago, before I started meditating and I really started to learn all this stuff, before I did that, I was mainly engrossed in these bottom emotional states of being. I was mainly feeling guilt, I was feeling anger from my childhood and some of the things that I went through. I was having attachments to perspectives that just weren't serving me. But this is what I realized. When I started to meditate, there was something that happened to me. I became very aware of my thoughts. Now, our thoughts are always going to be from certain perspectives, and there's going to be certain momentum from our thoughts. So I had a lot of thoughts that were in momentums and perpetual loops of feeling anger about certain things, of feeling shame or guilt for things I maybe could have done but I didn't do, and those would be self-perpetual. But the moment I started to meditate and I started to observe my thoughts, and this is the difference between observing thoughts to controlling, the major game changer for me that when it came to raising my vibration was when I was able to observe my thoughts rather than react. Because the first 2 or 3 days I started meditating, I was so focused on trying to control my thoughts. I learned about the secret, and I knew the idea of our thoughts were creating our experience. So I became like this person that was trying to control, and if I had a negative thought, I would kind of try to get it out of my mind, and I would resist it. That causes more of that perpetuation. The game changer was when I let the thoughts be there and I observed them from a neutral place. I wouldn't label them as good or bad. They just simply were. That was the game changer. Now let's look at where that is on the scale. If you go down to willingness, what you realize, you'll have willingness and then under that, neutrality. Neutrality is where all the power is, because as you are able to observe your thoughts, it takes the charge of these lower emotions out of the equation. Now, the best and most powerful way to do this is through the medium of forgiveness. Forgive anybody that's ever done anything wrong to you. Forgive yourself for any situation you may have put yourself in. And as you simply let things be, as you forgive, you neutralize. That's where all the power is in letting go of all these perspectives that no longer serve and all these lower emotional states of being. Because remember, these emotional states of being are on loops. They're going to continue to perpetuate themselves. And as we fall back into the habitual hypnotic thoughts that we have, because as scientists show, most of what we think is on repetition, we keep falling back and falling back into that realm of thinking. But the key is to become aware of the way we think, is to become aware and able to neutralize it. So realize that neutrality is one of the most powerful ways to let go of all the negative perspectives, and the most powerful way to do that is through forgiveness. Now, this comes from understanding that perspectives come from attachment to memories, attachment to stories. So when we become aware of our stories, I had a certain story, and now I can look back at my story and see, hey, I went through that. I can help other people let go of negative things as well, but it doesn't control my life. I had a story of having somebody that was in my life that was very controlling, my ex-stepmom, and she treated me and my brother a certain way, and we were deprived of hanging out with friends. We were deprived of having any normal childhood whatsoever because she was in our life. That's a story, and even though I'm aware that it's there, there's no negativity to it because it eventually led me to a lot of the information I'm sharing with you now. It led me to wanting to go deeper within myself to let those negative aspects go. So it's a neutralization of it, an awareness, but not an attachment. There's a difference between awareness and attachment. Have the awareness of what your story is. Have an awareness of where your attachments are and simply decide to let them go by changing the focus of how bad it was to how it can be neutral, how it could have actually benefited you. A lot of benefits in the negative things I went through because it led me to my awakening of this information, to me going more within, and all the things I'm sharing with you on this channel. So the other thing I'm going to explain with this as the most powerful way to raise your vibration is to simply change your environments. Now, people many times will hold us into similar frames. They'll hold us into a similar expectancy of how they expect you to act. And if you maybe have been negative before in the past, they may expect you to be negative. Or if they're negative and you don't feed into their negativity and agree with their story and they're complaining, then they're going to treat you a certain way. And what you need to realize is you may need to change some of your environment. Now, this means you may need to get away from certain people that bring you down, that are very negative. This means you may need to get into a completely different environment as far as where you are in your day-to-day life. Maybe certain things are priming you to feel a certain way. You know, if your room makes you feel a certain way and you look around and things are always reminding you of the past, then that will create more of those feelings. Now, of course, you could reduce and release the attachment to the stories. You could simply decide to let them go. You could neutralize them. But what you could also do is get into a new environment. That's what I did. I learned how to meditate. I learned how to expand my horizons for where I am. That allowed me to feel good a majority of the time. And I'm not kidding you guys. I used to feel those lower emotions a lot. Not saying that I never feel them at all anymore, but what I am saying is I feel good a majority of the time. And I believe the reason that is because I have let go of these lower emotions and I've started to accept, allow, surrender to the moment. When you let go of all this baggage, what then happens is you allow yourself to become present to the moment, which is where all the power really is. So from that point going forward, you can focus on gratitude. Once you let go of all these things, you could focus on things you're grateful for. And this is going to be the game changer for you. This is something I'm just now learning about. This is something that can really change everything. Now, it's understanding this idea by what is called the Heart Math Institute. The Heart Math Institute, there's a book called Heart Math Solution. It's about understanding the power of our heart and how the power of our heart is connected to the brain, how we can create coherence between the communication of the heart to the brain, and how the electromagnetic energy of the heart is much more strong and powerful than that of the head. Now, the easiest thing you can do in order to really explain this is to realize that there are hormones in the heart that regulate stress within the body. If you feel gratitude and if you feel positive emotion and there is a powerful connection between your head and your heart, what happens is there is a deregulator hormone that goes through the body that regulates stress and makes it so that you don't feel as much cortisol. At the same time, you will increase a hormone in the heart that is related to what is called oxytocin. Or there's a different way to say it, but oxytocin is the hormone that is around connected to other people that has to do with feeling good. Now, what you can begin to do is to put your hands over your heart and to feel gratitude every day, to remember an emotion and remember a positive memory in your life of feeling connected to other people. As you do this, you are literally raising your vibration and you are expanding out your energy. You are allowing yourself to really feel that, and it is a very powerful way to then connect to the coherence of the brain. So this is something that is newer for me that I'm really coming to understand, because a lot of the information on this channel is related to the idea of the intellectualness of the head, letting go of the beliefs that no longer serve us, the definitions we're attached to. But when we connect that to the coherence of the heart, there is so so much power in that, and it will change just about everything. What I recommend doing to really raise your vibration is when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do right when you wake up, put your hands over your heart while you're still in bed. Focus on things you're grateful for. Focus on feeling the energy in your heart grow and expand more and more. And as you then imagine that connection to your head, what you can then do is focus on the feeling and watch how that powerfully influences your whole day. So with that being said, remember that all you have to do is let go of the attachment to the story that you might be telling yourself. Become more observant of your thoughts rather than reactive. And as you do that, you're naturally starting to raise your vibrational set point. From that point, change your environment. Realize that as you simply focus on gratitude, as you focus on that connection from your heart to your head, everything will begin to change. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and also hit that little notification gear so that you can get the daily uploads that I do. Some people say that even though I post daily uploads, they only see it every couple times a week. So other than that, I will see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste.